Sebastian Mendel-Martinez, MMAnytt, here at SCBG Ireland with head coach John Kavanagh. So, John, we're just a couple days away from the UFC's return to Ireland. How are you feeling, and how are your fighters feeling ahead of what should be a very fun event?
Yeah, the UFC Dublin is maybe the biggest event on our annual calendar. Of course, we have corner fighting in Vegas and stuff, which is huge. But there's something special about having the UFC in your own home, as you guys know when you get it over there. The way the crowd is, and it's a special week. I've three guys, two guys and one girl, ready to go. They're in the most difficult period right now, making weight. But technically and conditioning-wise, we're ready to put on a show.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your guys and girl who are going to be fighting. First off, we've got Paddy Holohan, who was promoted to co-main event. First of all, what was our reaction like from him and you and the team when you guys heard that?
Yeah, it was very cool.
Because I know you had campaigned a little bit on Twitter, said a couple words about the co-main event status.
Yeah. I just think it was an oversight, to be honest, that maybe someone in an office, Norman's in a heavier weight class or something, so he automatically goes there. I don't really know the reasoning behind it, so I voiced my concern. Paddy's the local guy. He's won his last two. He's such a big personality in Dublin. It's a Dublin show, so I figured maybe if I could get Dana's attention, he might pick up the phone and shout down the phone at somebody for being an idiot, as he does. But yeah, I woke up the next day and it was actually my girlfriend told me. She goes, "Oh, check it out, Paddy's now co-main event." I think Paddy had the same experience. His girlfriend also told him he's now co-main event, but you can ask him himself. But it's special because when we were here last, I think Paddy set the tone for the night. He was the first one out there, big win, being an underdog, and in such an emphatic way. He didn't go out and grind someone out. He put someone away fast, and that seemed to just get a momentum going. So for them to come back, a little over a year later, and now he's co-main, I'm very proud of him, and I know he's going to live up to that expectation.
And being the head trainer, obviously you have to look at his opponents quite a lot. Looking at Louis Smolka, I was thinking when I was looking at them, they remind me a little bit of each other in that, they're one loss, both very talented young up and coming guys. Both their losses were by decision. How do you look, when you train, obviously you don't want to give away your game plan or anything like that, but training Paddy for a fight like this, what do you focus on?
Yeah, I'm actually, Paddy's opponents tend to be short wrestlers that throw big overhand rights. That's who he's been facing a lot. So to face a tall guy that will exchange with him, kind of clean techniques on the feet and clean grappling, I'm excited about that fight. Because like I said, these kind of small wrestlers with the overhand right, it can be hard to make that a good fight. But against somebody that's going to have good exchanges on the feet and is also a good grappler, I think he, like you said, me and Paddy have both said the same thing. He reminds us of him, but maybe a few years ago. I think he's only a new blue belt in jiu-jitsu, whereas Paddy's a seasoned purple belt. I think the grappling is an edge for Paddy. He's maybe a bit wild with strikes. Paddy's a bit cleaner with strikes, so it's a similar opponent, but maybe he's fighting himself 3 years ago.
Well, I guess then you've always got the advantage if you're fighting yourself from several years ago because you've grown and developed. Moving on down the list, Cathal Pendred taking on Tom Breeze, another explosive up and coming guy, and then also Pendred is coming off the first loss in a couple of years, which broke some of his momentum and his win streak. First off, how did he handle that loss against John Howard?
I think he took it for what it was. I think he campaigned for that fight. He had this goal in his head. He wanted to get, I think it was 5 wins within a calendar year. I don't think it had been done at welterweight. So he really had pushed for that fight. I might have been wanting to hold him back a little bit. I thought after the Mexico fight he could do with a rest, but he was right back into making weight again for the July card. Like I said, I do believe he sort of rushed that a little bit. So he took it for what it was, and he has since allowed himself to rest and to recuperate and heal up and attack it with a new vigor. So he's fighting somebody that's been on the radar before. He was supposed to fight him in Cage Warriors, so we'd had our eye on him. I think for Tom, this is going to be a great learning experience for him. I do think he's quite young and he's quite new to this, and to walk out to that Dublin crowd and face somebody with the kind of pressure that Cathal brings, I think it'll be a win for Cathal, but I think Tom will take a lot from it.
And then we got Aisling Daly taking on Erica Almeida. thoughts on this fight, and where do you feel that Aisling has the edge?
I'm going to predict this is fight of the night. I think they both have a similar style. They're both absolute scrappers. There's something about when women fight as well. They're always trying to prove something, some of the men give out about women fighting, so they bring an extra bit of emotion to it. And that Brazilian girl, she walks forward throwing hard shots. Ash walks forward throwing hard shots. There's not going to be a backstep in that fight, so early prediction is that's fight of the night.
All right. And finally, just for those fans not here in Ireland but abroad, who for some insane reason might be questioning whether they should be sitting up attached to the TV Saturday night, why should they make sure to catch this UFC card here in Dublin?
Well, I think the different fights we've spoken about there all have an interesting backstory. Like say, Cole coming off his first loss in the UFC, the main event, Duffy stepping up from being prelim fighter in only his third fight going to main event. Yeah, I guess kind of like Conor did, but let's see how he reacts to the pressure. The Daly fight, I'm the Danish fighter, Danish fighter against the English guy. Terrible with names, but I know the skill set. I'm looking forward to it. Dalby's more sort of the clean boxing style stand-up against a Muay Thai fighter. So yeah, there's a bunch of fights on that. If you're a fight fan, there's going to be fights in there that are going to interest you.
All right, well, you've heard it here, and you've heard it from the best. Be sure to catch UFC Fight Night here in Dublin on Saturday night.